We are joined now by Sona Traore, Executive Director of Lead Monrovia Football Academy, empowering future leaders around the world by combining high-quality education with elite football training, primarily focused on children and youth in Liberia. So over to you, Sona.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sona Traore, and I work as the Executive Director of the Lead Monrovia Football Academy. And I will be doing my presentation about the gratitude fellowship experience that I had. I'm so happy to be here. A year looked so long, but we were able to do it in such a short period of time. Just to take you through what I'll be doing, this is what I'll be doing in short. So a short background about who we are. Lead Monrovia Football Academy opened in 2015 with just one class of 27 students. Today we have 153 student athletes, and they're all in between the ages of 9 to 19, in grade 3 to 11. So what happened over the years, we kept adding one class until by the end of this year, we'll be pushing for our 12th graders, which is the time that students within Liberia. So it's a very exciting period for us as we work to pair these students with their passions. Our mission is to empower Liberia's future leaders through quality education and sport. The narrative in Liberia for football has always been that if you be a footballer, you won't achieve anything much. So the organization wanted to change those narratives, but then use football as a hook to keep the students in school. I notice I'm saying football a lot, but the in context is soccer. So I'm sorry if I keep saying it that way. So in Liberia, we have 15 counties, states in the US, and we have students from 13 of the 15 counties represented. The overall vision is ethical and effective Liberian leaders, because we know that we want to solve deficits that we have in the country. Some of our, as a leadership hub, we see ourselves as trailblazers in correcting, like I said. Although we identify as many things, these are some of our key values, and that's leadership, education, ethics, accountability, diversity, discipline, skill training for leadership and entrepreneurship. So now coming to our key hairy, audacious goals, planning for the year, like the years ahead, which I think is the next 3 years. And to be honest, I remember when we had this section for the first time during our training, there was a question about what are your goals for the next 20 years? Challenge question when Dr. Kurt asked it. Even though I'm not a founder, or no, I intend to stay at the organization for about 20 years, but it gave me a lot of time to think about what I want to, put into place for the organization, even when I'm no longer there. So our big hairy goal, part of it is, you will see in a little presentation where we have phase 1 of this campus, is to build the boys' dormitory, which we aim to complete by 2024. By hopefully, we might have enough funds to build another dorm and, expand to 10 acres that we have. Another part of that is establishing a campus farm, because feeding is one of our highest costs as an and we all want to incorporate STEM program into that, help that is providing education to young children. The third part of our big hags is pairing student athletes with career goals. So as these students leave our academy and go on, what happens with them next? We start to think about that and pair them with colleges or clubs or vocational institutions that they could go to and become skillful and helpful to their communities. And one key thing I wanted to highlight here is something I learned from my time at the Gratitude Fellowship Network, which is when it talked about accountability. in terms of like reporting, and I've been to work with this on my team and even take this discussion to the board. And because of my added knowledge, they approved restructuring the organization in such a way that we have direct reporting, reports who, what are they reporting, what are the metrics, and we've been able to sort out a lot of things, even, having a consistent meeting time and, taking down notes that are stored for any participants that have missed the meeting and stuff. And all of these things were things that were never put in place firstly for us. And because I've gotten this added knowledge, hopefully by the next school year, we will have this new structure that we worked on. We restructured the organization and created an easier way for reporting, accountability, and measuring success within the organization. Now, after bringing to some things we need to do, the picture in the background is what our campus physically looks like. It's a 10-acre land space, but we've been able to do phase one and use every space of it as a multi-purpose building. Some of the things are knowing the cost of building and launching these new projects, securing funding for them, following key procedures for implementation, research on crops harvesting. When I talked about farm, agriculture, providing science lab, even a teacher that is qualified enough to teach the STEM program, build relationship with clubs, teams, schools, businesses, local and international. And then the last part of that is building the staff capacity to continuously grow the program. Now, just to highlight a few things that I thought were very important for me, especially during my time at the Gratitude Fellowship, where the idea about, having a succession plan, because that's not something a lot of leaders walk away with. People position themselves in places thinking like, I'm here and I might be here for a long time. It made me to rethink, and I've been able to say, to empower them, to push them forth, to ask, to make sure they're functional, even if I'm not there. And this for me was one of the most important things that I learned from the graduate. Another benefit I was here learning, hearing about programs, to share operational experiences, learning from them and sharing out with them equally. Something that I also really loved was the meeting time with my coach, because when I joined the gratitude network, I was actually going through a lot of personal and professional decisions that I needed to talk to someone, let it out. It was a good time to meet with my coach, even though we did not meet every time, as we planned, but she was very flexible, and the time with her was very, very enlightening for me. Then the last benefit of being part of this program for me is mentorship and having that constant access to guidance, like I said, especially with, my coach, my coach. So I know and there are questions that you may want to ask. So I just want to thank you so much for listening to me. It's been a very great honor. I had page with some of our donors, local and internationally. So is that contribution to work.
Thank you so much, Sona, for sharing about Lead Monrovia Football Academy and your plans to positively impact the lives of more children in Liberia over the next few years and hopefully into the future. So to kick us off with our questions, similar to the other fellows, what do you, Sona, what would you need from the Gratitude Network in the future, do you think?
I think keeping an active alumni group or something of that sort would work. A way that we could easily reach out to each other, like after a month or two, or I don't know, like 6 months after the program would help. And I know you've already sent some link out, PE art and stuff like that. Continue would be helpful and stay connected with this group we have. And about what are the academics girls, yes, and most incomplete or more to gender barriers.
Thank you, Sona. Is this, there's a question about, is your school for both girls and boys?
Yes, it is. Yes, it's for both boys and girls. So everything we do, all the programs we have are both for boys and girls. The life skills, the sexual reproductive health education we do, in the football games, everything. Yeah.
Wonderful. And from the projects you mentioned, your kind of rocks, what are your main focuses with you and your team right now? What are you trying to implement on at the moment?
Right now is starting campus development, phase 2 of it, which is building the boys' dormitory. Like I said in my presentation, we have a pilot farm that we've done. So also trying to put those research together and find a donor that could help, establish the farm further. And just continuously working on, my staff and these templates and things that they was taken very keen, and approved. So as we speak, in the last few months, we did a lot of staff development trainings where we went over these templates and reporting formats, and everybody seemed to understand because we run a school and school is closing by the end of June. So by the time we come back, they already have the template, they already have everything, and people know exactly what they're jumping back into by September. And we'll have another refresher training somewhere in August, because we sometimes change styles by bring new people on board in August. So depending on whether 1 or 2 people might change and add up to us, then we'll have another refresher to be at level. We have and everybody is accountable. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sona, for you and your team joining us in the fellowship this year.